Hello, good evening. Welcome to Camnet Television News. I'm Jeffrey Siambo to present. Our top stories in the news tonight. Small-scale miners in KABWE accuse leaders of being greedy. Police institute investigations into the alleged abduction of a one-year-old child. Youths swindled by a Chinese-owned company known as SHOPEE Mall. And in international news, Chadian leader slams recent protests citing foreign meddling. In sports news, Manchester United forward Cristiano Ronaldo returns to group training after differences with the coach.
Are you going in grade 6, 8, 10 or 11 in 2023? Waste no time. Born for Greatness Tuition Center will be opening to the public in Kablonga, Lusaka. Quality and experienced teachers guaranteed. Limited space available. Call and book for your child now on
0962 382535.
Classes are starting on 5th December 2022. Born for Greatness Tuition Center, learning for reigning in life.
You know I can take her a bit.
Yes, my dear.
I was thinking of getting you a Bugatti on your birthday.
Really?
I'm quiet. My name is Yana.
Don't worry, my dear. That's why there is insurance.
Insurance?
You heard me.
Not just any kind of insurance, but Savenda General Insurance, a company that offers superior customer service, highly professional and dedicated staff. We are not just any insurance company, but an insurance company that actually pays our claims. We cover, among others, fire, marine, aviation, engineering, agriculture, motor vehicle, and miscellaneous insurance. So, live life to the full, knowing that Savenda General Insurance has got you covered. Savenda General Insurance. Insurance excellence.
Hello again, another news in detail. A 15-year-old girl of Lusaka's Garden House compound has accused a 41-year-old man she met on Facebook in August this year of allegedly defiling and impregnating her. The girl, who is 2 weeks pregnant, alleges that after several days of chatting with the man on social media, they agreed to link up at a named lodge. Thereafter, he gave her 300 kwacha. Meanwhile, the man, believed to be a medical doctor identified as Mabulo, has denied the allegations, stating that he cannot engage himself in a sexual affair with a minor. He, however, disclosed that he knows the minor as they knew each other on Facebook. More in this report.
In trying to acquaint herself in the digital world, this 15-year-old girl of Lusaka's Garden House compound is alleged to have been defiled by a 41-year-old man she recently knew through a social media platform, Facebook. It was in August 2022 when Mercy, not her real name, alleges that she started interacting with a man she identified as Brian Mbulo on Facebook, and after several days of chatting, they agreed to link up. She has alleged that they went at a named lodge within Lusaka and had sexual intercourse, and the said man gave her 300 kwacha. Devastated, her mother now cries for justice, stating that the person responsible for allegedly defiling a child should be brought to book.
nakamba nawe ndiye nishita suspect because uyu ni mwana muono sazi waloko kuti pe wana mugona ndifuna pe bakambiche bazona ngati zona anagona naye mwana kai just machoka kulima polisi wazazi wa bosi tawadazi uyu ni mwana muono sanga nono ngere mwana wa 50 days beba ina 45 beba nani za ina 45.
Her aunt equally hold the same view.
Nilinako nzabura kwa noko nishite bwanji ni bweli mpini. Bebe amwete kaisi wanataireko na ndio gapu mbanga pezeka na mimba. Eve mkulondoro wa kwa keza laka bandezo nkala kwa mzanga. Uwezo kukona kuti ati mchinyumba. So yesterday manja futa na mpima manje kumpeza na mimba. Ndipa nalo ndoro wa vazo una.
Camnet TV reached to Mr. Mbulo to get his comment, and in defending himself from the allegations leveled against him, he has refuted the claims. He has, however, disclosed that he knows the girl as they knew each other on Facebook.
That is a false story, madam. Yes. Did she come from for you to meet her? So I don't know anything about it, about your daughter being missing. Why is it? I didn't take her anywhere. She was not alone when anything. Then we didn't take much of the time. We just spoke after I found out that the girl was a girl and I couldn't do anything with her. To remember, this thing started on Facebook. She sent me a Facebook.
Meanwhile, a concerned citizen has called on relevant authorities to look into the issue with the urgency that it deserves.
I'm appealing to the government that these cases of defilement, they are just too rampant here in Kanyama constituency. We need the government to move in and help the residents of Kanyama constituency. By broadcast time, the matter was reported to Plainview Police Post. Camnet TV is still following up on this matter. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Police in Lusaka have opened a docket into the case of a one-year-old child of Lusaka's Mutandabantu compound who was allegedly abducted for almost 4 hours and taken as a collateral after his mother failed to settle a debt of 430 kwacha. Tuesday afternoon, Kanyama Police Station recorded a statement from Rick and Mary Hampenda, parents to the child. Meanwhile, political analyst Dr. Alex Ngoma has sent 510 kwacha to the family in order for them to clear out the debt owed to Miss Lydia, the lender. The family says it is thankful for the gesture by the well-wisher who has come on board to assist them. More in this report.
After going through a traumatized scenario last week where they witnessed their one-year-old son taken as collateral by a woman they failed to pay a debt of 430 kwacha, this couple of Lusaka's Mutandabantu compound located in Kanyama constituency can now breathe as they have received help from a well-wisher who was offered to clear off their debt. Last week, the couple appeared on Camnet TV complaining how a woman by the name of Miss Lydia entered their home and went direct into their bedroom, took their one-year-old son, who was sleeping at the time, as collateral. Mary Ampanda, the mother to the child, is said to have borrowed the money from the said lady in order to boost her cellular business, but failed to pay back on the agreed date, leading to the situation. The child was said to have been taken by the said woman from 05 hours to 12 hours.
When the police but Tuesday kuma 05 lombwira manje atijeni ku police nati endani za kupezani nenzo sakira ndrame singaende ku police nilibeka ng'ono ati atendere pamoja nati endani za kupezani bebe ndibanamba kunyozera ku shout sonde bena bwana wasiya pado natamangira kuri bakuru banga.
Political analyst Dr. Alex Ngoma sent a 510 kwacha to the couple. They are now beholden by the gesture.
Zikomu kuri batumiza 500 kuti madamu ise ikongore ibwerere anyonga zikomu kuri beve monga dalise maningi pari beve zikomu maningi
mikira zikomu kuri amini wacho sandra mantandizira pankanya ishu ya mwana wanga veni napunzirapo kukongola nareka napunzirapo punziro imozi.
Meanwhile, Kanyama Police Station has opened a docket into the case as they have commenced their investigation on the same lady, Miss Lydia.
Since morning kari kuyembekezera but ba police waone akwati issue vaifakirako nzeru maningi so twenzoyembekeza cheti ba madam babwere so kuchoka manja pasimizi bavamevi zako nkapo but mwamene vaonekera chabe waone akwati nkani vaiona tinkani funika ende mwamene funika yendere.
Miriam Kaimba reporting for Camnet TV News.
A 35-year-old man of Kanyama compound is housebound after developing mental illness over 10 years ago. In an interview, 65-year-old Namangolo Asioto explains that her son, Nawanyi Sioto, developed a headache in 2009 shortly after writing his grade 9 examinations, adding that the family has been to Chanama Hills Hospital where they were told that there is nothing wrong with him. The mother is now appealing for medical treatment for her son, stating that she has to bath him and take out his toilet pot made from a container, as he has completely lost his mind and cannot do anything on his own. More in this report.
Spread out on this floor is a bed made out of blankets where 35-year-old Nawanyi Sioto of Lusaka's Kanyama constituency has remained housebound for the last 13 years due to a mental illness. In a community like Kanyama, where everyone knows each other's business, such a situation has not been easy for the family, who have become a laughingstock in society. His mother, 65-year-old Namangolwa Sioto, a businesswoman who depends on selling charcoal and infant porridge for a living, says it has not been easy to take care of her son as a widow with 9 children since the passing of her husband a few years ago.
Familia anayamba mune wake uyu anakamba chabe kuti nimvera mutu. Kuti tiende titenge mali zao tioenda mu grade 10. Kuseni kwa kaena pamene paja ndiye pamene anayamba kufunda. So tinampeleka ku Chainama kuja vanamupima vanamugwira kuja. Paka anataba futi ku Chainama naenda kumudobera kwinangu. Futi tinabwera kuno kunyumba futi tinamubwezako kabiri. Futi tankala futi ataba kuja tinamubwezako. Ndiye pamene nabapemba kuti nitandizeni kasi munipase ko munkwala wakuti atazimwa kuja ukasira uja munkwala nizimuleta. Panakana baja ku Chainama tife matende siti aona. Chifuka nyereti ameti mulasa ni kali.
Ari kwanja kumezo kai.
Pera mchose kwanja.
Nitanso.
Pasiano. Sama gonyelea pamene hapa? The distraught mother explains that after the problem was not detected at Chanama Hills Hospital, she has been forced to live with her son and even baths him, as well as takes out his toilet pot made out of a container, as he cannot do anything for himself.
Na kukamba sakamba olokusambika nina mene musambika chemba ndina mene nitila tandizo yene kuti nipeze kulibe chifuka chakuti bamudala na bebe banisiya plus banabadwa beka so bana amene nili nawo tundalama twamene bapeza nitungono kuti nipeze tandizo bwino kulibe.
The mother's wish is for well-wishers, including those from the international community, to help her son get his sanity back, stating that she is hopeful that such a day will come with the right treatment. The current scenario, however, also exposes the need for mental health services, even at community level, to allow for quick detection of conditions. We will continue to follow the matter until the affected young man receives the help that his family longs for. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
And now some people across the country have been swindled millions of kwachas by an online business called SHOPEE, alleged to have been owned by some Chinese national. The affected, who Tuesday visited the company offices in Lusaka, have been left devastated after they found the offices closed and all the workers had vanished. And those spoken to have explained that the named business was launched in August this year and that it recruited several agents who were used to recruit other people to invest in the business. They have since called on the Zambian government to track down the Chinese nationals who have run away with millions of kwachas. More in this report.
Several people across the country have been swindled of their hard-earned cash by an online business called SHOPEE Investment Promotion Zambia, which is alleged to have been owned by some Chinese nationals. Some of the affected Tuesday were left devastated when they visited the company offices in Lusaka, only to find the offices closed and all the workers have vanished in thin air. The affected, who have lost millions of kwacha, have explained that they were introduced to the business by their colleagues after it was launched in Lusaka at the Molongoshi Conference Center in August of this year.
Men Zambia ni apatre irishani okutra SHOPEE na batisendera indalama nabevira abantu indalama in short. Umando wakati SHOPEE yaishilenga business, online business, whereby abantu alishambo okuta invest indalama muri SHOPEE. And after investing, twasamba okatama challenges yambire pa 18 October ama challenges yambire whereby abantu alyamba okufiirwa okutira withdraw nga wata withdraw yasangwa okutira endalama tashirefuma but if you deposit endalama shena shirepokerero.
For example, if you invest 10,000 kwacha, you expect 10% of that money that you have invested, or even more than that. There were even again bonuses like you deposit 10,000, you receive about 1,500 bonus, of which was more convincing because people made a lot of withdrawals, of which was another convincing measure because they had to make withdrawals to prove that the platform is legit. Now our complaint is that why is the government allowing these illegal platforms to operate and then scamming us, the youths? Us, we are vulnerable youths and we want help.
The company also held several trainings in different parts of the country to teach people on how to invest in the business. Others have also lamented that they had been employed as agents of the company and were meant to recruit other people into investing in the company, or are now being troubled by those who they convinced to invest in the business since the named investors have run away.
We found even our fellow Zambians, they came to the conference and then they said we are SHOPEE Mall, of which when we search for SHOPEE Mall in Singapore, it's real. And then the people that they are advertising, all the videos and everything is real from Singapore SHOPEE Mall. They say the headquarters is in Singapore. So we believed them and working with them. So it comes our part-time jobs. So that's what we are doing. So what they're telling us is that what we are doing, we want to open a shopping mall in future. So before we open a shopping mall in future, what we need to do, we need to expand the Zambian market first. We want to teach people how the platform works before we actually open the actual shopping mall, so that people, they know how the technology works before they involve the physical buying and selling. So what we used to do in SHOPEE here, we used to do the virtual selling, whereby you buy a thing, it doesn't come back to you physically, you sell it online as well.
Chipata Mayor George Mwanza has also been named as having been visited by the named Chinese investors who expressed their interest in expanding their shopping mall business to Chipata. But when contacted for a comment, Mr. Mwanza has declined having anything to do with the named company.
So they paid the latest score on my office. I don't work for shopping mall. I'm a mayor. So they paid the latest score on my office that they were in Chipata and that they are a company from Lusaka and that their director is from Singapore, and the local people here came to make an appointment with our office, citizens of Chipata, 2 of them. That is Mbao and Eddie. So they are the ones that came to arrange for a courtesy call with my office. So I don't know them. I mean, just like Airtel or MTN can pay a courtesy call and talk about what they do.
Meanwhile, one of the facilitators of the company and marketing manager, Elbam Senga, when contacted for a comment, promised to meet up with this reporter, but later switched off his phone. And a check at the Patent and Company Registration Agency, PACRA, to ascertain in whose name the company was registered, has revealed that it was never registered with PACRA. The affected have since called on the Zambian relevant authorities to help track down these Chinese investors and where they have vanished to. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Small-scale miners operating at the Black Mountain in KABWE have asked the government on behalf of Chinese firms, the buyers of their materials, for a waiver of what the Chinese firms owe the Zambia Revenue Authority, ZRA, for non-tax compliance. The small-scale miners have also revealed that some named senior government officials, both at the province and at the district level, are the ones who are pushing the ZRA to squeeze the Chinese because the youths in the district have denied them a share of the Black Mountain. The small-scale miners further revealed that they have suffered at the hands of one of the named senior government officials, claiming to be a nephew to the Republican President, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, adding that the same named government official has within a year managed to amass millions of kwacha and assets.
Small-scale miners operating at the Black Mountain in KABWE have asked government on behalf of Chinese firms, the buyers of their materials, for amnesty or a waiver of what the Chinese firms are owing the Zambia Revenue Authority, ZRA. Most of the Chinese firms in KABWE have stopped buying materials from the small-scale miners on allegation that they are owing the government huge sums of money for non-tax remittance and compliance. These miners have revealed that some named senior government officials, both in the province and at the district level, are the ones who are pushing the ZRA to squeeze the Chinese because the youths in the district have denied them a share of the Black Mountain.
Yonso game morecha amali daza promo kwa natu besho amali daza promo nse e bari yakumbali my interest motive yabo bari yakumbali jamkula fuasa pakuti fotuchure ifwe so please ngwati mitwala chura muri yonshira musangwevo totwakerezi natu kwa tefishinga tulelanda wewe mama ni daza mama ya kuntanshi musajala yemkula mkoya mkukoma totwala muweba tukabura matraka ya file matipefi pazejala mkambe kufishita mwebene.
The miners have called for the dismissal of the named government officials before things gets out of hand.
Mwana wa munganda mumienu eure una ure chipani panu pakawe ure wino mwana wenu wa munganda anazichinya lyonse pa ofesi ngatwa yabakateka ure muntu trefwa change bakateka topa patanga ero tudire nsala afa bere turero mboko bati mutupangire ko nangu nisimero tanga chakuchira aba Chinese taba mutupangire ko simero toko ko turetwara ture chef intu mwefu muture kwa tomo kusungira abana n'abana kwa kuskuru kwa papata bazetara yemwe mfumuno mulama offices yabazetara yemya bakateka mwali wabaPF muda abaPF sipagaza zoba muda bakiyeri mwe bara ora fintu bakwachi mure muleka kwatita mure bomba.
These miners says within 1 year the same named government officials have amassed themselves with wealth by depriving the youths in the district and through dubious means. Petronella Msangulule, reporting for Camnet TV News in KABWE.
The Examination Council of Zambia, ECZ, has maintained that it will not release the results of the 69 schools who have been implicated in examination malpractices until investigations into the matter are concluded. ECZ Corporate Affairs Manager Nicholas Nkua has told Camnet News that candidates who are convinced that they did not engage in any malpractice should not panic but wait for investigations to be concluded. Mr. Nkua says he understands that some employment opportunities have opened up, but that this would not be a determining factor to force the council to release the results. Some candidates whose results have been withheld Monday marched to the Freedom Statue, calling on Zambia's President Hakainde Hichilema to intervene in the matter. More in this report.
Some candidates who sat for the 2022 General Certificate of Education GCE examinations, whose results have been withheld by the Examination Council of Zambia ECZ on examination malpractice allegations, Monday protested seeking the attention of Zambia's President Hakainde Hichilema, who they called on to intervene in the matter so that their results can be released.
They have traveled from different areas, the Copper Belt and some from KABWE, so please try to hear us. We are here seeking for our results, nothing else but results.
The
Examination Council of Zambia has however maintained its stance that it will not release the results until all the investigations into the matter are concluded, adding that even if the candidates have to miss out on certain opportunities, the decision of the council will not be changed. ECZ Corporate Affairs Manager Nicholas Nkua said this in a telephone interview to Camnet News.
Those that are affected, that first of all, if they know very well that they were not involved in any cases of malpractice, there is no room for them to be rehabilitated. I know that there are opportunities that could be missed or something like that, but for us, we want to make sure that the credibility of these exams is upheld. And like we have said before, we won't be pushed by anyone to make sure that we release results, even when we know very well that what we are trying to do is to protect the education system of this country. And where the council feels the evidence is sufficient and someone was found practicing or involved in malpractice, basically we will nullify the results.
Provided ECZ does not release their results, the affected candidates risk losing out on massive job opportunities such as those of the recruitment of Zambia Army officers, Zambia Correctional Warders and Wardresses, and the Zambia National Service, as well as applying in various fields of study. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
A quick response from the Lusaka Fire Brigade averted a possible catastrophe in Lusaka's Ibex Hill area. Information obtained by Camnet News suggests that some people may have started the fire in an attempt to clear the grass and trees. Hideaway Apartments owner Grace Mwelwa hailed the fire brigade for the timely response to quench the fire that was about to gut her premises.
This is the underdeveloped land in Lusaka's Ibex area, where the fire is believed to have started from. The cause of the fire is not yet known. However, we were informed that some people may have started it in an attempt to clear the grass and trees. Grace Mwelwa, who is Hideaway Apartments owner, shared with Camnet News that she was disturbed as she saw blazing flames in the next building and opted to call the fire brigade.
Surprising enough, I remembered a statement by someone to say, and it gave me the feeling that once these things burn down, you can replace them. But if there's a life to be lost in here, it would be the worst thing. And I thank God that it was during daytime, because at night it would be like we'll be so alarmed and not know where to start from. And thank God for my gardeners. They had to race around with the long hoses to just try and put up some water there. But it was quite alarming. At some point, I couldn't find my car keys just to start mobilizing vehicles off-way. Yeah, but above all, we thank God for Fire Brigade.
She has thanked the Lusaka Fire Brigade for the quick response that helped avert a possible calamity.
I've always been told that Fire Brigade takes long to respond. But I can say to the contrary, they were here just in time. As if they were next door, but it's like they didn't take that long. And they straight got into quenching the fire. They put it out, and they made sure that everywhere it was smoking, every space and place was like put to rest in terms of quenching the fire. We are really grateful to Fire Brigade.
And an attempt to get the position of the Lusaka City Council could not materialize by broadcast time.
Well, these houses you see would have been gutted, but thanks to the quick response by the Lusaka Fire Brigade, all managed to quench the fire. Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
The Civil Servants and Allied Workers Union of Zambia has warned that allowing of partial withdrawals from the National Pension Scheme Authority NAPSA may lead to poverty among civil servants if not coupled with continuous financial education, as many civil servants, such as teachers, are highly indebted. Speaking to Camden News, Union Secretary General Makai says if not well educated, workers will get partial withdrawals and use them to service their debt, only to end up gathering more. Cabinet recently approved the introduction of a bill in Parliament aimed at amending the National Pension Scheme Act, Chapter 256 of the laws of Zambia, to allow for partial withdrawal of benefits for workers under this scheme. More in this report.
Zambia is one of the countries in the world with escalating levels of social vulnerability due to high poverty levels, according to the United Nations UN. Not even workers like civil servants are protected against economic hardships, leading them to accumulate debts in various lending institutions. While the news that Cabinet has approved the introduction of a bill in Parliament which will allow for workers under the National Pension Scheme Authority NAPSA to partially withdraw benefits, some stakeholders feel that this could be a double-edged sword. In an interview, Civil Servants and Allied Workers Union of Zambia, SAWU's General Secretary Makai says civil servants like teachers are highly indebted, meaning that partial withdrawals may go towards servicing debt.
One, we know that most of the employees of government are highly indebted. And as such, our hope and wish is that our members will not get these partial withdrawals to go and pay off the debts. Because if that is what will happen, it means that this will serve a purpose which was not intended. A pension scheme is there to take care of you in your old age after you have retired. So even our members who do these partial withdrawals, our request to them, our guidance to them is let them invest this money so that it pays dividends in their old age, so that they do not suffer in their old age. It will be it will be a miscarriage for members to get partial withdrawal of their money is meant for pension and use it to pay debt because they are highly indebted.
He has also noticed a number of mushrooming labor unions, stating that the Ministry of Labor and Social Security should ensure that these have functional worker education departments.
Secondly, the government, I don't know if in the past there used to be a department where the government itself had a department which was educating workers, preparing workers for retirement, so that this issue of educating workers and preparing for retirement, it becomes a part of the government programs, it becomes of union programs, so that nobody will get this partial withdrawal and use that money just for consumption. It will be very unfortunate if such will happen.
The union is asked that what is important when this initiative, once enacted into law, is continuous worker education to avoid beneficiaries finding themselves in pitfalls of financial mismanagement. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Zambia Alliance for Agroecology and Biodiversity says leaders need to ensure that the indigenous seeds are preserved, especially with the increase in climate change. Speaking to journalists in Chongwe, where a series of meetings was held on the preservation of seed, organization representative Francis Davis says genetically modified organisms need to be done away with as they are not good for human consumption. Meanwhile, Livette Moranje, a Zambian smallholder farmer in Chongwe, says the fight for indigenous seeds needs concerted efforts with more political will. He says government should engage traditional leaders in this as a custodian of indigenous seeds. The one-week-long meeting attracted participants from Malawi, Zimbabwe, South Africa, and Zambia. More in this report.
Indigenous seeds are said to have a high intra-population, more resistant to climate change, and healthy for human consumption. By the cutting edge of technology, hybrid seeds have become more common in the market globally, with the African countries having their own share of hybrid seed usage. However, hybrid seeds are said to have a negative impact on the health of the people and the ecological system. In this regard, partners from Zambia, Malawi, Zimbabwe, and South Africa convened in Zambia with a call for governments to come up with proper legislation that will protect the harms of hybrid seeds by going back to the soil with indigenous seeds. Livette Moranje, a Zambian smallholder farmer in Chongwe district, says government needs to engage traditional leaders in the preservation of indigenous seeds.
We want now the chiefs to come in, because as you can see, the chiefs in all the different walks of life, not only in Zambia alone, but in the SADC region, our indigenous seed, the grains that we have, they may ever say these are grains, they are not seeds. They have been using them from long time ago in their cultural programs. For example, here in Chongwe, we have what you call Chikwela Makumbi. So we find the chief who call the headbands, can you come or collect all these things from your local people? So when these seeds are brought before the chief, there are some rituals that they normally do, which even connects us back to nature.
And a participant from Zimbabwe says his country is making strides in preserving indigenous seeds with policies taking shape. And another from Malawi says the country is encouraging families to have seed banks as a way of preserving the indigenous seeds.
Agrarian reform, meaning we want to defend ourselves from eating what does not belong to us, but to revive what belongs to us and take it back into the hands of the farmers and let the farmers start to create food from the seeds that they were born with. Because in the Bible, when God created the world, He created all plants with their own seeds.
Traditional seed, it's taken a journey. In the past, farmers just used to grow traditional seed, But in the 1970s or 80s, especially in Malawi, we've seen an influx of hybrid seed because of issues such as climate change, where people believed that population sizes are causing food shortages. So maize was hybridized so that farmers could grow what they called improved varieties. But we've seen problem with these because they require a lot of nutrients, they require a lot of fertilization and chemicals.
Meanwhile, conveners of the event, Francis Davis, says the Zambia Alliance for Agroecology in Biodiversity is opposed to genetically modified organisms, hence the need to support the preservation of indigenous seeds for many benefits.
This is a united campaign for farmers' rights, for revival of indigenous seed systems that are the foundation of our food system and the foundation of our nutrition and agroecology. And around the world, people are calling for agroecology as a solution that cools the planet, that works to put carbon back in the soil, to save our forests, clean our air, and revive systems that were the foundation of where we've come from.
The above-mentioned countries met in Zambia with a call to action for respective countries to ensure that indigenous seeds also have market readily available. Sharon Kalimbula, Camnet News, Lusaka.
This is Camnet Television News. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more news after the break.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962-642-490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes, and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
Are you going in grade 6, 8, 10 or 11 in 2023? Waste no time. Born for Greatness Tuition Center will be opening to the public in Kablonga, Lusaka. Quality and experienced teachers guaranteed. Limited space available. Call and book for your child now on
0962 382535.
Classes are starting on 5th December 2022. Born for Greatness Tuition Center, learning for reigning in life.
Welcome back. We'll continue with the news. Government has directed all agricultural training institutions in the country to engage in commercial crop and livestock production to contribute to increased productivity and production. Agriculture Minister Ruben Mtolopiri made a directive in a speech read on his behalf by Ministry of Agriculture, Human Resource and Administration Director Luwasi Sakwiba during the 24th Popota Agricultural College graduation ceremony in Choma. And Popota Agricultural College Principal Melon Mulamfu said his institution has ventured in pig, chicken and banana value chains to sustain the financial capacity of the college. For details, here is Lawrence Kabuto of NAIS in Choma.
Government has directed all agriculture training institutions in the country to engage in commercial crop and livestock production to contribute to increased productivity and production. Agriculture Minister Ruben Mpiri made a directive In a speech read on his behalf by Minister of Agriculture, Human Resource and Administration Director Lubasi Sakwiba during the 24th Popota Agricultural College graduation ceremony held in Choma.
Your ways of performance from a mere training institution to commercial level. You have the support of government in terms of human resource, infrastructure, and financial support. Please ensure that all college enterprises operate at the commercial level so that students appreciate agriculture at that level right from this college.
And Popota Agricultural College Principal Melon Mlamfum said his institution has ventured in pig, chicken and banana value chains to sustain the financial capacity of the college.
Increase in production training programs at the farm, like the piggery, rabbitry, field crops, broilers, layers, shorts, tree plantation, botanical garden, banana plantation, and horticulture.
Meanwhile, speaking in a vote of thanks on behalf of other graduates, Rumbizai Muziamba called on the New Dawn administration and the private sector to employ the graduates.
We have acquired knowledge and skills that advances the concept of sustainability and thereby making us ready for service in both public and private sectors. Through your guest of honor, sir, we kindly request the New Dawn government and the private sector to quickly recruit Popota graduates because we are ready to go out and contribute towards improvement of the agricultural industry.
Reporting, Lawrence Kabutu in Choma.
Senior Chief Kalinda Walo of the Nsenga-speaking people of Eastern Province has applauded the UPND government for inclusiveness in development of programs. Senior Chief Kalinda Walo says the UPND government, under the leadership of President Hakainde Hichilema, has demonstrated inclusiveness as demonstrated in the deployment of teachers and health workers. The chief says within a few months the UPND government has been in power. It has managed to bring unity, love and peace through development at different phases. The senior chief was speaking today in Petauke district during the commemoration of the 58th Independence Day celebrations in Petauke district, whose theme is Zambia at 58, promoting inclusiveness towards sustainable social and economic recovery. And Petauke District Commissioner Martha Mulenga has encouraged residents of Petauke to take advantage of Community Development Fund CDF by forming cooperatives.
Anyanjitu ambili kumbali ya bindi ya mapunziru. Nga betikana kukunguru watu mayatu. Nilo chitike kwa yai. So kuya mikila kofunika. Kuya mikila kofunika. Wadu wamuyana kachita wachita. Osa susha pakintu kuone kagameto.
We know the policies of His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema is to bring empowerment to the people at lower organs. As we are aware that the CDF has increased from 1.6 to 25.7. And our President for empowering us with the CDF empowerment that the people of Petauke should benefit from the CDF coming from the grassroots.
A Zambian businessman, Clever Mpoha, has been conferred with an honorary doctorate by the Miles Leadership University for his contribution to entrepreneurship development in Africa. Miles Leadership University Director of Programs Matthew Mario says Mr. Mpoha was nominated for the honor based on his immense contribution to entrepreneurship in Africa through Savenda. And in his acceptance speech, Mr. Mpoha, who is a businessman and the director of Savenda Group of Companies, said only Africans will develop the continent. Here's a report.
Savenda Group of Companies director and shareholder Clever Mpoha, who has become a continental household name, was Monday 24th October conferred with an honorary doctorate by the Mao's Leadership University for his contribution to entrepreneurship development in Africa. The colorful ceremony, accompanied by traditional dances, the Mao's Leadership University came to Zambia all the way from India and Ghana to honor Mr. Mpoa for his contribution to entrepreneurship and averting people's challenges through the provision of innovative solutions.
University, we truly value Dr. Mpoa. After reading his profile and when he was nominated for the doctorate and we've done due diligence, we thought he's truly a man that is worthy of celebration. And it took us a long journey to get here, but I can categorically say it was worth it.
The Mao's Leadership University believes Mr. Mpoa was the right candidate owing to his rich profile, rising through the ranks and building Savenda into an African conglomerate.
Which I got in this country, and really it is a memorable thing in my life. I'm not going to forget Zambians anytime, because on this special occasion, in the special occasion of independence, 58th Independence Day, it is not just coincidence, it is really that God has created us to meet each other on this particular auspicious day.
People gave testimonies as to why Mr. Mpoa deserved to be awarded, and among them was that coming from St. Mary's School regarding how Savenda has helped the school achieve excellency through awarding best performing pupils.
Savenda has for the past 12 years served as a motivator for our pupils to work extra hard through the Savenda Awards of Excellence. These awards show that not only does Savenda Group of Companies have a heart for the general education, but also advocates for excellency in the academic and co-curricular performance of the girl child.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Dr. Clever Mpoha.
Shortly after the coronation, Mr. Mpoa in his acceptance speech thanked the university for the gesture and stated that Africa will only be developed by Africans, as he emphasized the importance of entrepreneurship.
Vice Chancellor, not only are we celebrating this conferment today, we are also celebrating our country's independence, a reminder of the significance of fighting for a free life and a free mind. Removed from boundaries and limitations to build a better and fulfilling communities for ourselves and all those around us. No one will develop Africa unless we do. And I'm here to challenge all of you that we must start thinking different.
And at the same event, the 28 credentials of entrepreneurs awarded Mr. Mpoa and his wife Esther Mpoa, including Savenda Management, for their contribution to entrepreneurship and business development in Africa.
28 credentials of entrepreneurs is partnershiping with Savenda Group of Companies to establish in Zambia and as well as start our awards next year in Zambia, courtesy Savenda Group of Companies.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
Congratulations to Dr. Mpoha there. We take our second and final break. We'll be back with more news after the break.
In our quest to serve nations and develop Africa, Savenda is investing in the agriculture sector so as to produce supply for both local and international markets, housing over 12,000 pullets that are nurtured and fed with our locally made stock feed that comes from our own locally grown maize and soya beans, all processed from our recently installed milling and mixing plant. Our over 95,000 layers have an output capacity of over 1,500 trays of fresh eggs per day that are carefully selected and packaged for all the leading stores and supermarkets nationwide. Our greenhouses are fitted with the latest irrigation system, and the seedlings are nurtured to ensure only healthy plants reach the fields. With our deliberate planting schedule, we are better placed to supply constantly without interruption, thus reliable. Savenda Farms is also changing lives of its dedicated workforce drawn from the local community and beyond. So the next time you think fresh and green, think Savenda Farms.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
Are you going in grade 6, 8, 10 or 11 in 2023? Waste no time. Born for Greatness Tuition Center will be opening to the public in KABWE, Lusaka. Quality and experienced teachers guaranteed. Limited space available. Call and book for your child now on
0962 382535.
Classes are starting on 5th December 2022. Born for Greatness Tuition Center, learning for reigning in life.
Welcome back. And now in international news, Chadian leader Idris Deby has slammed recent protests experienced in the country, terming them insurrection with foreign support. The protests were violently repressed and resulted in at least 50 deaths. Deby denounced the demos and further warned the opposition against insurgency. In other news, several Guinean political leaders were questioned and held in custody all day on Monday, the 24th of October, leading the country's opposition to denounce what they say is a fresh attempt by the ruling junta to silence dissent. According to one of their lawyers, Fode Osu Fofana, Chelu Baode Bano Sao, Mamadou Sila, Dembo Sila, Pepe Francis, Etienne Soropogui, and Boya Konate are being prosecuted for their participation in support or for last week's anti-junta protest in which 3 people died. For more in international news, here's a roundup.
Chadian leader Idris Deby has slammed recent protests experienced in the country, terming them insurrection with foreign support. The protests were violently repressed and resulted in at least 50 deaths. Deby denounced the demos and further warned the opposition against insurrecting and insurgency. These were not simple demonstrations that were brought under control, but a real, carefully orchestrated insurgency to create chaos in the country. External actors have provided arms and money to opportunistic Chadian who have not hesitated for a moment to destroy our country to satisfy their personal interest and foreign agendas. Even today, Chadian actors have sought the support of foreign powers to pressure and blackmail me so that they can accede to power. Chad's opposition had called for peaceful protests on Thursday to mark the date where the military had promised to hand over power in the unstable Sahel country. On the other hand, Deby called for national unity for the sake of peace in the entire nation. I will not accept that the nation be divided, the country fragmented, and our unity mortgaged. I will use all legal means at my disposal to prevent these projects that are harmful to our country. The 38-year-old 5-star General Muhammad Idris Deby has been in power since his iron-fisted father was killed in an operation against rebels in April 2021.
Several Guinean political leaders were held briefly in custody Monday, leading the country's opposition to denounce what they say is a fresh attempt by the ruling junta to silence dissent. Their lawyers claim the politicians are being prosecuted for their participation in last week's anti-junta protest in which 3 people died. We believe that our clients benefit from the presumption of innocence and have already told their part of the truth in relation to the charges brought against them, which were even mentioned in the letters of convocation, namely prohibited assembly, provocation of prohibited demonstrations, and several other assaults and injuries and others. The politicians were released later in the evening, but are due to appear again on Thursday. Young protesters clashed last week with security forces in the Conakry in demonstrations called by the FNDC to demand a quick return to a civilian-led government.
Current chairman of ECOWAS, Umaro Sissoko Embalo, was welcomed in Moscow by President Vladimir Putin Tuesday. If discussions regarding wheat and grain exports were per the agenda, on behalf of countries in the West African bloc, Embalo urged the Russian leader to find a peaceful resolution to the war in Ukraine. Nearly 9 months since the war between Russia and its neighbor erupted, thousands have died, and its consequences continue to disrupt the global economy. The war has indeed hurt growth and contributed to raise prices around the world. According to estimates by the International Monetary Fund, global inflation will peak at 9.5% this year, but it will bite hardest in developing countries. President Putin hailed Russia's and Guinea-Bissau's long-lasting friendly relations, adding that he hoped to further develop trade, economic and humanitarian ties. For that matter, a second Russia-Africa summit will be held in 2023.
It's now time for sports news. At our sports news, Manchester United forward Cristiano Ronaldo has returned to group training after being ordered to train alone last week by manager Erik ten Hag. Ronaldo, 37, refused to come on as a substitute against Tottenham last Wednesday and was subsequently dropped for Saturday's 1-1 draw at Chelsea. Ten Hag later said there had to be consequences for his actions. It is understood there has been communication between Ronaldo and Ten Hag over the past few days. Ronaldo blamed the heat of the moment after he left Old Trafford before the end of United's 2-0 win over Spurs, having left the bench and walked down the tunnel in the 89th minute. The Portuguese presence in training suggests he is in contention to play in Thursday's Europa League Group E home game against Moldovan club Sheriff Tiraspol. Defender Harry Maguire and midfielder Donny van de Beek also trained on Tuesday after recent injury problems. To end Camnet television news, the headlines once again. Small-scale miners in KABWE accuse leaders of being greedy. Police institute investigations into the alleged abduction of a 1-year-old child. Youths swindled by a Chinese-owned company known as SHOPEE more. And international news, Chadian leader slams recent protests citing foreign meddling. In sports news, Manchester United forward Cristiano Ronaldo returns to group training after differences with the coach. Our Camnet verse of the day is coming from the book of Ephesians 5, verse 19 to 20. Speak to one another with psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs. Sing and make music in your heart to the Lord, always giving thanks to God the Father for everything, in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Thank you once again for watching Camnet Television News. I'm Jeffrey Ziambo. Good night.